Ellarkum vanakkam. Good morning to all. My greetings to all the entrepreneurs and startups who are participating in StartupTenkasi challenge. I would like to, of course, greet my colleague and my friend in the BJP, Shri K. Annamalaiji, BJP Tamil Nadu President, Sridhar Vembuji, who is a legend and an inspiration to startups and entrepreneurs all around the country and in the world, and Shri Anantan Ayyaswamiji, State Vice President of the Tamil Nadu BJP and the Overseas Tamil Development Cell. I congratulate them for conceptualizing the idea of Startup Tenkasi, and of course, I thank you for inviting me to speak here at this program and to all of these startups. The objective between the Startup Tenkasi initiative is a powerful idea, and the powerful idea is an idea that Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is inculcating in young Indians all over the country. From north to south to east to west, he is urging them, inspiring them to join this tremendous effort of building an India decade, a decade full of technology opportunities in the coming 10 years, to take this innovation ecosystem that India today has built through the energy, the enterprise, the enthusiasm and the determination of young Indians across the nation, to make this innovation ecosystem, which is the third largest in the world today and certainly the fastest growing innovation ecosystem in the world, and make it an ecosystem that will not just earn the enemy and respect of all around the world, but certainly create a better future full of opportunities for young Indians across the country. There are many successful stories that the youth of Tenkasi are aware of. The story of Zoho is legendary, and Sridhar Vembu certainly represents in his personality, in his life and in his achievements, a source of inspiration for entrepreneurs and startups all across the country, including Tamil Nadu and Tenkasi. I have full faith in the leadership behind this initiative, that such efforts under the overarching vision of our Prime Minister, over the tremendous achievements that the country has made in the last few years, will result in Tenkasi emerging as an essential part of the India decade story and creating unique ventures and unique ideas that will serve not just the enterprises and governments of India, but also certainly customers and enterprises all around the world. But before we speak about the future, it is necessary a little bit to understand how we have reached here, how this country in the last 9 years under the leadership of our Prime Minister has transformed from being a country whose the perception about whom around the world was about a dysfunctional democracy, dysfunctional government, how the perception of our country was, it was a country full of possibilities and potential, but limited opportunities, and how the perception of India for many, many decades was that of a country which consumed technologies that were architected, designed and built in the West with very little to contribute on its own, excepting to support those technologies and platforms. In the past 18 months, since I have been given an opportunity to serve by Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji in his Council of Ministers, I have crisscrossed the country and visited over 42 colleges, met with young Indians across north, south, east, west of India, and they all asked me about this question about what was the old India and what is the new India, what is the difference. And those three questions that I framed, those three perceptions of India pre-2014 are essentially those that characterize old India. And if you look at 2022 today, through the power of technology, Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has transformed the perception of a dysfunctional governance. With the age-old narrative, when 100 rupees leaves Delhi, only 15 rupees reaches the beneficiaries or a citizen's benefit, to now using technology, using the India stack, using DBT, every citizen across the country receives 100 rupees that is sent from Delhi for his or her benefit, without leakage, without corruption. It is the power of technology that has transformed this perception of India as a dysfunctional governance, dysfunctional democracy that lasted for 6 decades, that has been transformed in the last 9 years. The other perception about India used to be that India's economy and India as a country full of young, talented Indians would see the full potential of the young Indians being only realized if they traveled abroad, went to the US, went to various countries, but they never had an opportunity to do well in India. Over the last 9 years, the story of the almost 1 lakh startups, the several hundred unicorns, and the whole spirit and culture of enterprise, the ability to create companies and enterprises without having any famous last name, having access to capital, creating success stories that are earning the respect of the world, envy of the world, that has been scripted over the last 8 years in many, many corners of this country. In many homes, many families, many young Indians have demonstrated that this country, our India, is a country that is full of opportunities for young Indians who have the tenacity, determination, creativity to create enterprises. So again, in a lot of ways, a 6-decade-old narrative of India that young Indians can only shine if they went abroad has been turned on its head by Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's unstinting support for the dreams and aspirations of young Indians all over the country. The other narrative about India was that we were blandly a consumer of technologies. And today you can see, ranging from ITES to the internet to consumer tech to data to AI to semiconductors to electronics to the blockchain to cyber security, across the board in cutting edge technologies, India is and Indians are leading the conversations, the design, the development, the delivery of products, devices, solutions and platforms to enterprises, governments all around the world. And this is taking on an increasing intensity as post-COVID. The digitization of the world is increasing. The enterprises around the world, the governments around the world, consumers around the world are all fast digitizing their lives. And the talent to deliver on those products, those solutions, those platforms or devices is increasingly coming out of India as startups, as companies, as talent that go and work for multinationals that are setting up headquarters in India with their R&D centers, etc., etc. So India has moved from being a consumer of technologies to the Prime Minister's vision, which he outlined in 2015, that we will be a producer of technologies for the world and for our countrymen and women. So it is in this context that in 2021, August 15, Prime Minister looked at the future and said, the coming decade is a decade full of technology opportunities for our young Indians. And he called it the India Decade. It is squarely in this context that the Tenkasi Startup Challenge and efforts like this to catalyze the minds, the spirit and the can-do spirit of many of you young entrepreneurs, wannabe entrepreneurs, startups should be seen. The future of technology, I will not spend too much time in describing the future landscape of opportunities, excepting to say that under Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, for a young Indian today, the opportunities are endless. And I use a phrase that this generation of young Indians is the most fortunate and the luckiest generation of Indians that have ever lived in the history of independent India. Because as a young Indian today, as you step out of college, as you look outside, you will see an opportunity-rich landscape. Whether it is space, whether it is agriculture, whether it is the internet, whether it is the future of the internet, whether it is artificial intelligence, whether it's computing, whether it's mobile devices, whether it is SaaS, whether it is all kinds of applications today. They are open for young Indians to participate, to build their ideas, to build ventures around the ideas, raise capital, scale up, create franchises and ventures that can then serve customers in their communities, in their state, in their country and around the world. The India Stack, let me give you an example of the power of Indian innovation. The India Stack, which consists of the Aadhaar identity authentication platform, and the various other layers, including fintech and Covin and DigiLocker and multiple other layers that have been added on to constitute the India stack, has earned the respect of so many nations around the world that we are having a global India Stack conference in the coming months, and would be inviting many countries around the world that are interested in implementing the India Stack in their own governments, in their own economies, in their own countries. So India has traveled a large distance in the area of technology capabilities in the last 8 years, and a lot of it has been, a significant amount has been due to both the vision of our Prime Minister and his confidence in our young Indians, and the ability of our young Indians all around the country to live up to that confidence and deliver these cutting edge solutions, cutting edge ideas that are earning the respect and envy of the world. It is absolutely clear India is one of the preeminent nations of the world today that is deploying technology for the benefit of its people. It is slowly and systematically changing the whole notion of digital government and digital governance, and setting a benchmark for the world's countries and governments to follow. And all of this is being made possible, like I said, by the ingenuity, by the creativity, the dedication of young Indians all over the world. In Tenkasi, today it marks an epic journey to achieving the greater dream of Make in India, Design in India. Tenka has been known for Pudukkai Tendral, Kutrala, Saral, its loving and hardworking people, the evergreen farmlands and beautiful mountains. But Tenkasi in coming months and years will also be known for its startups, its creativity and its cutting edge technology work, that its young youth will step forward and deliver after this program. The Honorable Prime Minister of India, our beloved Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, has always believed, that he said this on August 15, 2021 from the ramparts of the Red Fort. He said that the next decade is India's decade, and he further went on to say, this India's decade will be scripted, built, authored and made a success by the enterprise and the energy of young Indians everywhere. It is this message that I want to tell every one of you today who is attending this program in Tenkasi, that you have a significant opportunity to live up to this dream of our Prime Minister of making India in the coming decade a fully developed nation, and making India a fully developed nation on the back of pursuing all of these opportunities of the India decade, going from a $3.3 trillion economy to a $5 trillion economy and a $10 trillion economy. India today is the fifth largest economy in the world. It is one of the fastest growing digital economies in the world. It is certainly on track to become, after the US, the largest digital economy in the world in the next few years, and it's certainly on track to become, in the next few years, the third largest economy in the world. But all of this really is going to be possible when youngsters like you, startups like you, entrepreneurs like you are fully invested in the story of India being a developed nation, fully committed in developing and building your dreams and making your dreams a part of the larger Indian dream of creating economic prosperity for all our brothers and sisters across the country, the length and breadth of our great nation. With over 200 pitches received in just 3 days from across the domains of software, e-commerce, artificial intelligence to textile, biotech, food and consumer goods, the Tenkasi challenge represents the fact that the next generation of innovation is certainly not going to come from only from the larger towns in India, but it is also going to come from places like Tenkasi. I certainly believe that given this initiative, given the leadership that Annamalai ji is showing, given the leadership that Anuswamy ji is showing, and of course the presence of Sridhar Vembu ji in Tamil Nadu, and as an inspiration, as a mentor, that the entrepreneurs and startups from Tenkasi will join in and make the dream of the India Decade a reality. I wish you all the best for your endeavors. I am confident that initiatives such as this will result in much more economic activity and prosperity, not just in Tenkasi but all over the country. And I hope that you will play a significant role in the Prime Minister's vision of an Amrit Kal, the Prime Minister's vision of a developed nation that has equal opportunity and prosperity for all Indians across the nation. I thank again Annamalai ji, Sri Ayaswamy ji, and Sridhar Vembu ji for being associated with this program, for initiating this program, and for enabling the young minds there and the young creative minds there to get a significant opportunity in taking a step forward in realizing their dreams. Ellarku Nandri, thank you, Jai Hind.